to the Gene Policini Center on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, where tonight a throughway rivalry will be renewed as Richie's excited the winless Niagara Purple Eagles are in town to face the first place RIT Tigers. Warming up in the net for RIT, number 30, Logan Drackett. He's been a big reason why the Tigers sit atop the Atlantic Hockey standings. Drackett earned AHA Goalie of the Month honors in October, and he currently owns one of the best save percentages in the nation. Number 29 for Niagara is Ludwig Stenlund. Oh, Drackett and the Tigers remember the sophomore forward all too well. Stenlund is the one that ended RIT season last March in the Atlantic Hockey semifinals. Good evening and welcome to RIT SportsZone pregame live here on My18 and FlowHockey.tv. Well, it's always nice to be on top of the standings, and that's where RIT currently sits in Atlantic Hockey. The Tigers enter the night 6-1-1 overall on the year, and with a strong showing this weekend, Wayne Wilson's group could sneak its way into college hockey's top 20 national rankings come Monday. How about last Saturday? RIT went for the sweep of Holy Cross. First period, Nick Bruce finding Will Calverley. Calverley's third goal on the season put RIT up 2 early, but Holy Cross would answer late in the first period following a boarding minor on Kobe Walker. The Crusaders on the power play, and Dalton Skelly scores to make it a 2-1 game after one. It stayed that way all the way until the third, when Holy Cross would get the equalizer thanks to Will Brophy's first goal on the year right there. It was 2-2. Holy Cross would score 3 unanswered to take the lead as Connor Jean comes up with his 4th on the year. Crusaders feeling good, up 1, hoping to earn the series split last Saturday night, but just over a minute to play. Tigers not out of it just yet. RIT would answer. Jake Hamaker to Sean Cameron late, and Cameron is going to tie it. We went through 2 overtime sessions before finally going to the shootout of first in Atlantic Hockey and here at the Policini. And in the first round, Jake Hamaker goes first. He goes in, and he is denied. He scored on a similar move last season against Arizona State on a penalty shot. This time, he was stopped. We would go to a second round, and after Alden Dupuis missed, Jake Papalardo gets an opportunity, and he takes advantage, beating Logan Drackett to win it for the Crusaders. Holy Cross picks up 2 points, while RIT settled for just 1.
Yeah, obviously it's not the result we wanted, but I thought that our team came out pretty soft today compared to yesterday. I thought we took it easy today, and I think it showed. They were out battling us and stuff, and yeah, we tied it up, but all around I thought we could have played better. It's definitely a lesson to learn, I guess. So, obviously we still got a point out of it, and we're doing well in the season, but, sweeps are a lot more points for us, and that's ultimately what we want.
I know it doesn't feel great because you didn't get the full 3, but positives out of this weekend that you can take?
Yeah, obviously our first game was really good. I think it was a good team effort. Everyone contributed. So we're gonna remember that one. We're gonna forget about the one tonight, and we'll move on.
Yeah, the Tigers not happy despite picking up 4 out of a possible 6 points last weekend. Holy Cross won the shootout, but the game technically ended in a 3-3 tie. Sean Cameron scored his team-leading 5th goal on the season for the Tigers. Holy Cross went 1 for 4 on the man advantage, while RIT went 0 for 6. The Tigers' power play has struggled in the last 4 games, scoring just once in its last 17 opportunities. Joined now by the head coach of the RIT Tigers, Wayne Wilson. And Coach, let's start with the power play. 1 for your last 17. Is it a lack of execution from your standpoint right now, or does that unit feel they're getting chances and they're just not going in?
We've had some good puck movement. And we also had Dan Will, the quarterback, out for a little bit. It wasn't playing a regular shift last weekend, so that was maybe a little bit of a contributing factor. But we are getting our chances, and we just got to bury them. And I think if we stick with it, good things will happen. And power plays and penalty killings can often be streaky. And when you're riding a good streak, you got to score as many as you can, because there's going to be some dry times too.
Yeah, you picked up 4 out of 6 points last weekend. Being around this team after last Saturday's game, I got the sense that wasn't good enough for them. Even in November, do you get the sense being around this group every day, they have a chip on their shoulder and have something to prove this season?
Well, I think it's great to have, but you got to just be careful that, it is a long year. There's a lot of very good opponents, and Holy Cross is one of them, and you're not going to get all the points. You've got to be hungry to really approach it and maybe learn some things off of the games that you don't get the 3 total points. But I still thought overall, when I reflect back, getting 4 out of 6 was a very good weekend for us.
Yeah, your balanced attack this season has been a bright spot for you. Is it unusual or just a pleasant surprise for you guys to have guys that haven't played together for a long time gel so quickly in the year?
Well, you're always hopeful. You believe in the freshmen that you bring in, and you believe that everyone that's returning is going to be a little bit better than last year, and it doesn't always go that way. But right now, we're happy with the way the whole team is playing, and I don't think we have that one player that you can go to and really rely on for big numbers, but I think we've got a lot of players that we can rely on and to contribute, and we're getting that right now, so that's a good feeling to have right now.
Yeah, Niagara here tonight, a team that has struggled early, but the schedule hasn't done them any favors. This is still a dangerous team that almost won the conference tournament last year, isn't it?
Well, really a team that's almost intact from last year, so they've got all their key components, and Delmas and goaltending and Stenlin up front and a bunch of others as well. So they knocked us out last year, so we know they're a very good team, and we've got our hands full. And they're a desperate team right now, just because of the way the season's gone for them. But they've played, they just came back from Denver, the #1 team ranked in the country, and they played 2 really good games, I thought, against them. And so they're a team that we've got to be ready for, and we know that, and they'll be hungry, and it should be a great game against 2 really good hockey teams.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Best of luck tonight, and we'll see you on the postgame.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Wayne Wilson of the RIT Tigers. Well, the Tigers remain on top of the Atlantic hockey standings as we take a look thanks to Holy Cross's victory over Sacred Heart last night in Connecticut. RIT has earned 10 of a possible 12 points and leads Robert Morris and Sacred Heart by just a point. AIC and Army are just 4 points back, while Niagara sits in 11th place after starting the league play 0-2. In fact, the Purple Eagles 0-6 overall so far this season, so we'll see how they do here tonight as we take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard for Atlantic hockey here tonight. In addition to RIT and Niagara, there are 3 other games tonight in Atlantic hockey. Holy Cross goes for the sweep of Sacred Heart at 7:05. Canisius will play its very first conference game finally tonight when they host Robert Morris at the Harbor Center, while Air Force, after finally picking up his first win on the year last weekend at Sacred Heart, they host Bentley out in Colorado Springs. Face-off in that one comes up at 9:05. Our John DeTulio is downstairs for the preview with the Niagara Purple Eagles. He is joined by the head coach of the Niagara Purple Eagles, Jason Lammers. John?
Hi, Kevin. Thanks so much. Jason, your record's a little misleading. I know you're winless, but you've played some pretty good competitions. What do you like about your team through the first 6 games? How would you assess your team through the first 6 games?
We love our guys. We think we're going to be fine in the end. This is a one-bid league, and what matters is the end of the year, just like last year. So we're good. We're just going to play hard and work to out-compete teams.
This game is always tough with RIT. Last March, you knocked them out of the Atlantic Hockey semifinals. What do you expect tonight here at the Gene Paul City Center?
Yeah, well, I have the utmost respect for the organization and the coaching staff. I think they do a great job here. So this is going to be a hard-nosed game, and we're excited to be a part of it.
What do you want to see from your young goalie tonight against the Tigers?
I just want to see him be him. He's a really good player. He's carried us a lot in games, and I think you'll be real impressed with him tonight.
Game like this, special teams matter. RIT struggling, you guys are struggling. What do you want to see from your special teams tonight, certainly on the power play?
Yeah, I think we'll probably decline special teams tonight, so that's probably what you'll see tonight. So we'll just tell them, no, we're good. We'll play 5-on-5.
Do you like are you getting opportunities or just not executing? What's been the big problem?
Posts, we've hit the post a lot and it's gone wide or gone out. If it hits the post and go in, it's different. There's probably 6 of those, so we could be real good right now, but we're not. And it's just life cycle of a season.
I like that, though. Just decline the penalty. I like that, Coach. Good talking to you, Jason. That's Jason Lammers, head coach of Niagara. Kevin, back to you.
It'd be great if you could do that sometimes. Thanks, John. We'll check back with you in just a bit. Well, still to come on Pregame Live, we'll flash back to one of the best finishes we've seen in this rivalry. Plus, it's a whole new world in Atlantic hockey this season. After 65 minutes of play, we'll break down the league's new overtime rules as we look back on last Saturday night's historic finish between the Tigers and Holy Cross. But first, You are looking live at number 2, Adam Brubaker, the senior defenseman who leads one of the most experienced blue lines in the nation, will join us live next as our coverage of RIT hockey rolls on from the Gene Policini Center. It's Tigers and Purple Eagles tonight at 7:05. This is RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live.
The Duckus, Brown, and Dupuis line on the ice. Dupuis takes it away. Dupuis beating it back to Duckus. Lining it up, scores! Tigers lead 1-0. It passed Herman as Herman, the blast. Big pad save made. Another blast. Kovackis, and it rolls in. No. Rebound, big one given up by Drackett. And that is the assistant captain, Nico Kovackis, tying this game at 1.
Boy, Logan had it too. He's been stopping shots like that all night. Blast comes from the point. Initial save, and then here comes the shot. Ooh. Slithers through.
A little grease on that goal.
Oh, there's grease. Oh, boy, that's a tough one.
7 seconds remaining. The Tigers look like they're not going to get a shot off. Brubaker far corner. 2 seconds. Backhand in front. And it goes in! Yes. It goes in! 1.1 seconds! Unbelievable! The miracle here at the Policini!
That had overtime written all over it. Look at this. Brubaker just throw. I don't know how that puck went up into the air.
It goes off of the stick of Jake Zielinski,
yeah,
the
it's
defenseman.
like an own goal. Holy cow. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
What a game last year here in the Policini Center. RIT went 2-2-1 against the Purple Eagles last season, including the thrilling victory you just saw from January. In the Division I era, Niagara leads the overall series. In fact, RIT was winless in their first 15 meetings with the Purple Eagles, dating back to the 2005 season. The Tigers still have a sour taste in their mouths after losing a heartbreaker to Niagara in the conference semifinals last March. Captain Adam Brubaker and his fellow teammates undoubtedly talked about that this week. The senior defenseman standing by live now with John DiTullio. Johnny?
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. Adam, does that loss still sting from last March to Niagara in the Atlantic Hockey semifinals?
I think it's something we talked about this week. You know, they were the team that put us out last year, and it's definitely a statement game we've circled this year on our calendar, and it's great to get them early.
I know they're winless, but they've played Denver, they've played Minnesota. What do you see from them on tape?
You know, they're a good team. They got a lot of returners back, good D-core, good goalie, so just getting the pucks in deep and shooting as many as we can on them tonight.
This season, although it's young, seems like there's something special going on with this club. What do you think has been the key for this fast start for your Tigers?
You know, I'm really happy with it right now. I think we're getting scoring from all 4 lines, and I think that's something we've missed in the past couple of years, you know, relying on one line too much. So using all our forwards, all our D to contribute.
And then you got Logan in net. It's nice to have that security blanket. He's like a wall of granite back there for you.
Yeah, he's given us a chance to win every night, and I think that's something you need at the college level.
All the best to you, Adam. Good stuff, man. That's Adam Brubaker, by the way, Atlantic Hockey Defensive Player of the Week for his performance last weekend versus Holy Cross. Kevin, back to you.
All right, John, and that big goal last January, the miracle at the Policini, beating Niagara 1 year ago in January. Well, tonight's game is the first of a home-and-home series between these two schools. It was also Heroes Night here at the Policini Center as RIT honors those who have served our country as well as the first responders who serve our community each and every day. We thank them for their service. And the net for the Tigers is no surprise at all. As we've mentioned, number 30, Logan Drackett, will make his 9th start of the season here tonight. Drackett has started each and every game for the Tigers and boasts a 1.74 goals against average, which ranks in the top 10 nationally. For Niagara head coach Jason Lammers, will go with Chad Veltri. Veltri has led the goalkeeping core this season for the Purple Eagles. As a freshman, he has a 2.58 goals against average in 2 games against Minnesota and Denver that saw him give up 5 goals but make 69 saves. Well, if you were here for last Saturday night's game against Holy Cross or you were watching it elsewhere, you witnessed a first in RIT hockey history. And while the official game result is a 3-3 tie in the eyes of the NCAA, when it comes to Atlantic hockey this season, it's a whole new world after 65 minutes of play.
It was the first shootout in Atlantic hockey history. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they ended up on the wrong end of it.
Going in, Papalardo scores.
Oh, wow, what a move.
And the night before, he scored on me twice with shots, so I had a feeling that he was going to shoot, and then he kind of faked once, and I like almost reacted, and then he faked again, and I bit on it, and then he just went around me. So props to him, really good move, but I think I got to be a bit more patient to save it.
By NCAA rules, the game ended in a 3-3 tie after no one scored in the first 5-minute overtime. But under the new format adopted by Atlantic Hockey this season, teams then play a 5-minute 3-on-3 session before going to a shootout if necessary to determine who earns 2 of a possible 3 points in the league standings.
I think it's exciting. I loved, in juniors, I loved playing 3-on-3. I loved overtime and shootouts. So I think it's a lot more exciting for the fans, too. It kind of brings a different atmosphere. And I know we didn't get to play 3-on-3, which kind of sucks. But I really like the shootout, and I wish we would have won. But it kind of just brings a new dynamic to the games.
I'm not a big fan of the shootout, not because they won in the shootout, but I still think that's a little gimmicky. The other part of it is players making good passes or defensive plays or nice saves. So I like that part of it. And after the game, I mean, we were disappointed that we didn't get 6 points on the weekend and so on. But, you know, if it was the old point system, you're saying, hey, we took 3 out of 4, that's a pretty good weekend. Well, same thing with taking 4 out of 6, I think, is still a very strong weekend.
The Tigers are practicing 3-on-3 situations regularly, and their top scorers are wisely expanding their repertoire in hopes of winning the next shootout.
Oh, he's denied. Wow, that's a great save by Radomski.
I think with how good video is and stuff, like people are always watching, so, and the highlights and stuff, so you never know what you're going to do and you never know what the goalie's going to think. So I think the biggest thing for me and for pretty much most shooters is reading what the goalie is doing, because, I mean, you come in with a set move, but if the goalie's backed up pretty far or he's pretty far out, like, you're going to have to change it up. So I came in with that set move. The goalie made a nice save, but hopefully next time I can fake him out even more.
The new format has positives and negatives, and while some Tigers would like to make small tweaks, Wayne Wilson has a different idea.
I would go 60 minutes, and I would go 10 minutes of 3-on-3 right afterwards, and if it's tied, it's tied. NFL still has ties. I would entertain the fans with a 3-on-3 for 10 minutes, and I think most of them are decided in 5. I think it will definitely be decided in 10. But if in the case it's not, then it's a tie. And 2 points for a win, 0 points for a loss, and no consolation point.
Yeah, Wayne Wilson's version there. It's important to note that no stats will be counted after the first overtime session and that the new format will only be used during the regular season. Now, 4 out of the 6 college conferences are using this format. Head coach Wayne Wilson expects a vote at the spring meetings to make a clear-cut overtime format that will be used by all leagues across the board next year. Well, still to come on the show, we'll check in with John and Gene for their keys to tonight's matchup. This is RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live. Some of the last images of fall this week here on campus as we are greeted by the snow and cold over the last 2 days here in Rochester as winter has arrived early as we welcome you back inside the warm Policini Center. For the most part, we're watching RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live presented by Taylor the Builders. That snow was a little bit of a shock. Got to watch the forecast a little closer. Well, RIT is in the midst of playing 5 of 6 games here at the Policini Center, where tonight they renew their rivalry with a Niagara team that has been a thorn in the Tigers' side throughout the years. As we welcome in John and Gene, and guys, everyone knows this rivalry, or in any rivalry for that matter, throughout the records, they mean nothing at this point.
Oh, I mean, even go back to the 1 year, John. Thank you. Good evening to you, Kevin. where Niagara was dead last in the conference. They came here and won. I mean, yeah, we want to talk about remembering that year. Tiger fans remember a few years ago.
That's
too.
a painful memory for us, for the team, for the fan base. Niagara had no business beating RIT that year in a dramatic Game 3 on a Sunday night here at the Gene Policini Center. But last year, too, the Tigers are one game away from playing for a trip to the NCAAs, and they lose in overtime. So the Purple Eagles have played well. There's no question. Over the last 10 games, they hold the advantage versus the Tigers.
A lot of the same faces back for this Niagara team. One newcomer. Now, John, coincidentally, I learned of this role because of Greg Paulus. Paulus at Duke played 4 years, got his degree, used his 5th year at Syracuse. Ryan Cook from Niagara, 4 years at Merrimack, got his degree and wanted to come back and play home. He's from Buffalo, so here he is in the lineup. What a force, what an addition to that blue line. 4 of their top 5 scorers are newcomers, and the one you just mentioned, so it gives them, he's very, very seasoned player. I think this team is going to be fine. I mean, even talking with Coach Lammers, last year they went all the way to the conference finals. He thinks in the end they'll be good. And the addition of Cook certainly helps this club. There's no question about keeping your eye on number 2. Good defenseman. Yeah, Greg Paulus named the basketball coach at Niagara this week, too. For the RIT Tigers, boy, you could highlight any number of players, but this is the Atlantic Hockey Forward of the Week. 3 goals in the weekend against Holy Cross. Number 8, Will Calverley. Dynamic last week, as you just mentioned. 3 goals. He was sensational with that line of, I really like the way Nick Bruce is playing, and Kobe Walker is one of those grinders, but Will Calverley is a guy that has really come on. There's no question about it. Off to a great sophomore season. But it's 4 lines. He just happens to be on the top line, but there's 4 really good lines that RIT is going to roll out tonight. Well, we used to call them 4-point weekends. We went more than that, John. You want 6 points. But let's start off with 3 tonight. What do the Tigers have to do? Well, I think when you talk about the Tigers, you're talking about Drip and Drackett. That's what we're talking about. He's 5-1 in October for a goals against average of 177, a save percentage over 960. He was the Atlantic Hockey Goalie of the Month for October. You look at the young guns for Niagara, 4 of their top 5 scorers are all newcomers. We did highlight Cook. And the Rochester Revenge, it's on their mind. Adam Rubaker told me they talked about it. They have discussed it. That loss last March, still bitter for the Tigers. I think they'll take it out tonight on the Purple Eagles, let's hope. It's the front end of the home and home, Kevin, 7:05 puck drop. Can't wait to call this one tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the guys were talking about that loss last March, as we mentioned. It has stuck with them, and it was a painful one. I was there. A tough loss for the Tigers, and then Niagara, of course, losing in the championship game to AIC. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you in just a few more minutes. Well, we are closing in on game time as face-off now less than 10 minutes away. We'll wrap things up from here next. You're watching RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live.
Out front, Calgary scores!
If you haven't made it out to the Policini Center for a game, what are you waiting for? Great family fun awaits for you. $6 tickets available. Grab your seats today by visiting the Policini Center box office or go online now to rittickets.com. Your next opportunity to see the Tigers on home ice 1 week from tonight when they welcome Sacred Heart to town. If you can't make it out next Friday night, no worries. We've got you covered. Our live coverage of Tiger hockey begins 6:30 on My 18 Rochester and flowhockey.tv. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live. Thanks so much for watching. Up next, Tigers and Purple Eagles renewing their rivalry here at the Gene Policini Center. Should be a good one. We'll see you back here for the intermission report. Until then, everyone, enjoy the game as RIT Sports Zone Live begins right now.